Hi everyone. I'm trying something a little different in order to serve you, my folk. We're physically separated during this time, but in that we can seek connection with each other and we can find solace in the messages the spirits have for us. To that end, I'll be posting every few days, maybe every week, with some divination as it's read through a different lens. My hope is that this will give us a way to feel connected to the spirits, to each other, and to have an opportunity to take their wisdom and blessings into ourselves. I'll be posting these on my Patreon, and while after this first episode, that is going to be available at the same time for everyone, after this one, my patrons will get access to them a few days early, but after that, they'll be available to everyone for free, and I'll make sure I share them around. If you like the work I'm doing, I'd encourage you to follow me on Patreon, and if you're able to join me as a patron, you can find me at patreon.com/Skylark913. So, I invite you to join me today in this experience of connection, and I hope that you'll find a new way to connect to the spirits and the divine, and perhaps be inspired to understand life in a new or different way, letting your actions reflect that understanding. So, today I'll be looking at divination as it's read through the lens of hope. Hope is something that seems to be in short supply and high demand right now. Anxiety is running high for many of us, and it's acting like this dark pit that's opening up to swallow the light that hope provides. I know that I, like many others, are dealing with a lot of uncertainty right now. Things are changing faster than we can keep up with. We're struggling with how to proceed with our lives from here. The ground is shaky and our routines keep on shifting. So, how do we hold hope in these times? When routines are forced to shift, it's really easy to lose the devotional practice that you've built. And that can be really, really hard. It can be devastating when it's one of the anchors that holds you centered on a difficult day or in difficult times. But there's hope in this too. When routines are forced to shift, that creates opportunity. And opportunity can mean lots of things. In this case, maybe now is the time you can start that meditation practice that you've been putting off. Or maybe you can develop a habit of washing your hands and praying whenever you enter the house. We can find that hope, that silver lining in these changes. And spirits know we'll be home often enough to have the time to attempt them. So, regarding the divination I pulled, regarding this omen, it's the message that the spirits have for us regarding hope. And that is how I asked the question for this and how I'm going to be reading each of these answers. So the symbols I pulled are Delta, Sigma, and Kappa, as well as the Knight of Bottles. So I haven't looked at this before, so maybe you can see these. I'll post a picture of them with the link on my Patreon so that you can see the picture of them. But we've got Delta, Sigma, and Kappa, and then the Knight of Bottles. This is from the Legend of Tarot deck. It's based on the Legend of Zelda. I really like it a lot. The pictures are really pretty. Okay, so we've got Delta, Sigma, Kappa, and the Knight of Bottles. So first I want to look at them one by one. So, Delta. The direct translation for this symbol is, in customs inopportune, strength is weak. Now, typically, when I read this symbol, it means that the things we would normally do and the ways we would normally react are not what is right for this solution, for this situation. Basically, when the world turns upside down, you also have to turn upside down to maintain your balance and react in beneficial ways. Right now, our world is pretty upside down. The habits we have, the ways we normally interact with the world, they're not what's going to work right now, and they're not the best course of action. So, let's take a look at what Delta might mean when read through the lens of hope. We often take solace in the innate abilities we have. They're comfortable because they're familiar. This is what it feels like before Delta. But Delta demands change, and change is scary, really scary. But think about all the progress we've made as a society. All of those things have been the result of changes. And these changes can be scary, but it can also be the hope for a better future. We and the world are being forced right now to make some pretty severe changes to our lives. And some of them are definitely leading to good things. So for instance, here at least in Ohio, basic utilities are no longer being shut off for non-payment. Unemployment is being given without a wait period. Accommodations are being made for people to work from home. These are all very positive changes, and it gives me hope that they can be changes that are carried through our current crisis and beyond, that these changes won't go away. Okay, so next we're going to look at Sigma. The direct translation is Phoebus Apollo speaks plainly, stay friend. So, how incredibly apt is that for where we are right now when we are being asked to stay at home? Sigma means we should physically stay where we are, and we should stay the course that's been plotted. So among other things, Apollo is a god of prophecy. So when the symbol Sigma is pulled, it can be viewed as a very direct instruction, very literal, which is funny because it's very literal the way that it ended up applying. But when read alongside other symbols, it means we should look pretty close at their face value and not reach too far for alternative meanings. So, how might Sigma relate to hope? How can we read Sigma through a lens of hope? Just as Delta provided change and provided opportunities for a better future through that change, Sigma and the power of staying can provide hope for a better present. So how many times have you wished that you had more time to pursue your hobbies and your interests? Are there books in your house you've been waiting to read? I know that I have a huge stack of books next to me over there on that shelf that I've been waiting to read. Are there skills that you've been wanting to learn or to deepen? Sigma, this power of staying, is a chance for us to really use this time that we've been given. And while I'm overwhelmed by a lot of things about our situation, I am finding the gift of hope within it. For instance, I am always wishing that I could do more to support my community. And this has given me the opportunity to do this, to be home and have these moments with you. And talking about how the spirits can help us navigate this world. I'm hoping that I'll have more time to practice guitar and maybe more time to write songs. I'm hoping to finally finish that book on the Greek alphabet oracle that I've been working on for too long at this point. It really just needs to be done. So being forced to stay home, give a thought. What are you hoping to do with that time? Even if you're still remote working, if you're still working from home, you're losing your commute time. So you've got more time than you did originally. So what are you going to do with it? Now, Kappa. The direct translation for Kappa is to fight the waves is difficult, endure, friend. So Kappa is all about perseverance and the long game. It's not a short-term crisis that we have right now, and there's no magic fix that's going to problem solve everything away. It's going to be a long, drawn-out test of endurance. So the imagery with Kappa is all about the ocean waves hitting the shore. And the waves don't stop, though they might vary in frequency and power. But it's our job to take them as they come and endure them. You can't fight the ocean. It will win every single time. You just have to endure it. So this one gets a little difficult. How might we look at Kappa through this lens of hope? For me, an important piece of this phrase is this word friend. We're not just being told that it's going to be a hard period of time. And we're not just being told that we must simply endure it. But we are being told that we have friends there alongside us, encouraging us. We are not alone. Yes, it's a shitty situation. And yes, we're in it for the long haul. Yes, we must endure the hits that keep coming and coming, but we are not alone. Now is the time to lean on those pocket friends, the ones you talk to throughout the day on Messenger and via text. These are the times that we were built for. One big thing we have going for us is all this technology we now have available to make this test of endurance a little less lonely. We can find hope in the knowledge that we are not alone. Finally, let's look at the Knight of Bottles. Knights are figures of action and movement. and this knight stands ready with a trident and net in hand, ready to walk into the waves. There's a woman who's looking longingly after him, as though she will miss him while he's gone. He's confident in his skills and his purpose, and even though the path ahead may seem difficult, he's ready to confront it with grace. So bottles are concerned with emotions and intuition, and they can hold love and heartbreak within them. This night signifies that there will be intense emotional development, and I'm going to tell you what, this is certainly a time where we're confronted with lots of emotions. So how can we look at the Knight of Bottles through the theme of hope? In this card, I see growth. We'll be dealing with lots of intense emotions, and in those emotions and our reactions, we have the opportunity for growth. Situations we thought we could never handle, we'll learn to cope with. And as we approach this journey of emotional development, we can be like this knight and confront each situation as it comes with grace and calm. The knight can be our role model. We can learn to be confident in our interactions with the world. We can know that we have someone waiting for us and missing us, who will be so glad when we return from that swirl of emotions. So altogether, these symbols, this omen, I think is incredibly on point with where we stand in the world right now. There's fear and anxiety and loneliness. The ways we are used to dealing with the world right now need to change, and we need to find our inner strength to cope with those changes. We need to find that inner strength to stay the course. And while we physically stay in the same place, we also need to stay connected to our friends and loved ones in order to weather the storm. It's going to be an emotional journey for all of us, and because we are in this together, we can find hope within ourselves and within each other. So I'd invite you now to think on these messages. Think on the wisdom and the blessings from these spirits. How can they influence the way that you approach life? How can you share them with your community? How can you share them with the world? And finally, where do you see hope in your life right now? Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you again soon. Just a quick reminder, I'll be posting these on my Patreon, and then I'll share them out from there. And this first episode, everyone's going to get access to it at the same time, but after that, my patrons will get early access as I start posting them. But they'll be available for free to everyone after that. If you like the work that I'm doing, I'd encourage you to follow me on Patreon, and if you're able, to join as a patron. And again, you can find me at patreon.com/Skylark913. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you next time.